told you about this, but we'll go over it just briefly again because it's very important. So this is the Taoist symbol. That symbol is Tao. Tao essentially means meaning, but it also means the way. It means a bunch of things. And Tao, for the Taoist, is what things are made of. It's the underlying reality of things. And for the Taoists, that's more like meaning than it is like material. Or another way you could think about it is more like information than it is like material. And so the Taoists think that experience, you can't say reality because it's not the same conception, that experience is meaningful, and that the meaning is the primary reality, and the meaning differentiates itself as it emerges, and it differentiates itself first into masculine and feminine, essentially, into the structure that you use to perceive reality, that's culture, and what it is that you're perceiving, and that's nature. And it's a lovely conception. It's different than the way people look at the world in the modern world, but it's parallel, and I think it's, if not more useful, it's certainly equally useful, because it helps you understand and articulate elements of your own experience that can't be understood from a framework that has a different underlying structure. So you know that sometimes you're comfortable and that things are going well for you. And you know that sometimes all hell's broken loose and you've fallen through the ice and you're dazed and confused and maybe you won't get up again. And you know that those are two different places and that you'd rather be in the former than the latter. And you also know that there's certain ways that you should act to make sure that you stay where it's comfortable and interesting rather than wandering off to where it's like terrible beyond belief. Now, you could call that in some sense your innate sense of morality. It's a kind of intelligence, but it's deeper than that. And as I said in the other class, the other thing that's lovely about the Taoist interpretation is that it's the interplay between these two things that constantly brings reality forth, and that if you balance them properly, which is the aim of a properly religious life from the Taoist perspective, then you have all the benefits of what you understand and what you're familiar with, order, and then you have the excitement of having one foot in the unknown. And that's a perfect place for human beings to be, because not only do we want to stay with what we are and conserve it if it's good, but we want to continually transform it so that it gets better and better and better. So, and I can give you an example of this. I'll give you two quick examples and you'll understand what I mean. So imagine you're watching a gymnastics performance, two of them. And the first performer comes out, it's like the Olympics. And the first performer comes out and man, this person is like perfect. You can tell they've spent 10,000 hours, because that's what you need to master something. Like working on these routines, and like every single movement they make is impeccable. And the routine goes on for a few minutes, and then it ends, and the person's, they're triumphant about it. And everybody claps, and the judges are all like 9.9 out of 10. And people are pretty happy about that. And so we're all hooked into that because we've seen someone demonstrate mastery. And so we're thrilled about that because it shows that that's what a human being can do. And we're human beings too. And so, yay for us. And so then the next candidate comes out. And they've got a real problem because, of course, what they have to face and overcome is perfection itself. And you might think, well, how in the world could you possibly do that? And so they get out there. And this performance is different. It's got everybody on the edge of their seats because they watch that person go through their absolutely perfect routine, but they add one twist to it. They push it so hard that you can tell by watching them that at every single second of their performance, they're like this close to disaster. So they've taken their perfection and they've pushed it to the point where while they're competing, they're improving themselves. They're taking that risk. And that's the sort of phenomena that makes everybody in the audience go absolutely dead quiet. Because everyone's on their edge of their seat thinking, oh my God, is this going to work? Is this going to work? Are they going to pull it off? And so, no, people are holding their breath and they're tied right into it. And then that person ends and, they do their little triumphant landing and everybody's on their feet roaring. And that's because they just saw someone do this. Perfect mastery. Plus they pushed themselves beyond that. And so that's the proper way to play a game. You're not just playing it, but while you're playing it, you're improving your ability to play it.